guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be showing you guys how I got this hair and makeup look. Today's video is also in sponsorship with Celie hair. We've got 2 bundles of 24 inches and a bundle of 22 inches, as well as a 20-inch lace frontal, all in body wave texture. So shout out to them for sending over these beautiful bundles. For today's look, I'm going to start off with the hair as usual. I'm going to be doing the watercolor method to dye this hair. I'm looking to go for more of a lavender color, so I started off using the Adore hair dye in the shade Soft Lavender. So when I was using the soft lavender shade, I noticed that when I pulled out the hair out of the water, it was kind of more of like a pinky type of color, and I was looking to go more lavender, so I did end up having to kind of re-dye the hair to get the color that I was looking for. So to fix the pink, I went ahead and started over using some fresh water. I added these 2 hair dyes from Adore. This is Sky Blue and Violet Gem, and the logic behind me using a blue hair dye, even though I'm looking for a lavender color, because the last shade was a lot more pink and blue make purple when you mix them together, I was kind of hoping that that was going to be like the result when I put my hair into the water with the blue hair dye. And it did end up working, so yay! I was kind of like shooting in the dark with that one, but it ended up working out. So this is what the hair looked like after I was done dyeing it, and it was definitely a lot closer to what I was looking for, so thank goodness. I also went ahead and washed and shampooed this hair off camera. To shampoo the hair, I went ahead and used my Shimmer Lights purple shampoo, and I also left the shampoo on the hair for about a couple extra minutes just to really make sure it gets that purple tone from the shampoo. Then to condition, I use my Silk Elements Mega Silk Olive Conditioner. I'm then gonna move into my install. So I already have my wig cap on. I'm gonna go ahead and cut 2 little holes by my ears so that way the wig cap lays a lot flatter in that area when I add my hairspray. Then to secure that cap, I'm gonna go ahead and use my Got to Be Free spray. I'm gonna spray that all over the hairline and kind of take it back a little bit as well, just to really make sure it stays secured. Then to dry the hairspray, I'm gonna use my blow dryer on a cool setting. You wanna make sure your hairspray is completely dry before you move into cutting all the excess cap. So now that our hairspray is dry, we can go ahead and cut all that extra cap off. Typically, I like to do this step using a razor blade. For me, it's just a lot easier, but I need to buy a new one. Mine's is kind of dull, so I'm just gonna go ahead and use my scissors to cut all of that off. And then just to really make sure that there's no lifting at the edges, I'm gonna go back in with my free spray and just slightly spray that on the very edge of my wig cap, just to really make sure that those edges are not lifting at all and everything is super flat. I'm then gonna add some foundation to my wig cap so it better blends in with my lace. I'm gonna be using my Jouer Essential High Coverage Foundation. This one is in the shade Caramel. This foundation is slightly lighter than my skin tone, so it works perfectly for this step. So I'm just gonna buff that in using a flat foundation brush. So now it's time to secure our lace down. Before I go in with my hairspray again, I'm going to use a little bit of foundation on the bottom side of the lace just to make sure it really blends well into the rest of my skin tone. And then right after, I'm going to go back in with my Got to Be Free spray and just start securing that lace down. Once that hairspray is completely dry, I'm gonna start cutting off all the excess lace. I'm also gonna use my scissors to cut off all the extra lace by my ear. And then once everything is looking pretty good, I didn't show this part, but I did wear my satin scarf for a couple of minutes right after this point, just to really make sure that that lace is nice and melted into my skin. So this is what my lace is looking like right after my satin scarf. I'm gonna go ahead and start cutting away some baby hairs now. I'm gonna use my edge brush to pull some hairs down, then using my little razor blade, this is my dull one, I'm gonna go ahead and start trimming up some edges. And as I'm doing this, I'm also using my hot comb just to kind of smooth everything over, make sure everything is moving in the right direction and that there's no like flyaways trying to like get into like my edges that I'm looking to cut off. You guys already know I love a good swoop when I'm styling my edges, so I'm going to be using my Lotta Body wrapping foam to style them up along with my edge brush. And then finally, to style this hair, I'm just gonna add some nice voluminous curls. I'm gonna use my curling wand to do this. I believe this is a 1 1/4 inch curling wand. And yeah, I'm just gonna add some curls. This part is super easy. I'm pretty sure everybody knows how to curl their hair. So I fast forwarded this part a lot. But once I'm done curling, I just went through everything using a wide tooth comb. We don't want these curls to be too tight. And then from there, I just did some touch-ups here and there using my curling wand. And I also went ahead and added my side part using my hot comb. And that's pretty much it for the hair, guys. I don't know if you could tell, but I was feeling myself with these curls. I thought these curls turned out so cute. But now that the hair is done, I'm gonna go ahead and move into the makeup portion of the video. All right, guys, so to start off this look, I used my Makeup Revolution Conceal and Define Concealer in the shade C12 to prime my eyes. I'm gonna use this all over my eyelid and also to carve underneath my brow to kind of give that part a little bit of structure, and then just blend it out really well using a fluffier brush so it can start to set. The first shadow I'm going to be going into is from the Bperfect and Stacey Marie Carnival palette. I'm going to be taking the shade Liquor and applying this onto the outer corner of my eye as well as a little bit onto the crease using a Morphe M506. And then to blend up the edges of Liquor, I'm then going to go into the shade Wifey. This is like a pinky red type of color. And I'm going to apply that onto the crease and outer corner as well, kind of in the same shape as the last color. I'm going to be using a clean brush to apply this color and just make sure to really work it in to blend out the edges of my last shade. Before I go in with my next shadow, you guys know I love to use my Fenty Beauty blotting powder and just kind of set the base on my brow bone just to get that really smooth blend when I go in with my third shadow. The next shadow I'm going to be using is from Raine. This is their shadow Crushin. It's a really cute like peachy type of color. So I'm going to use this on the very outer edge to blend out Wifey. And just like every other color, you want to make sure you use very light pressure to apply your shadows. So that way you get the best blend. I'm then gonna start prepping my eyelid for shadow as well. I'm gonna use another Makeup Revolution concealer. This one is in the shade C1. I'm using a fluffier brush to apply this. I'm just gonna make sure to kind of blend it up into the crease and just kind of blank out the space where I wanna add my lid shadows. Then for the lid, I'm gonna add some neon pigments. These are from Bymelolops. We've got a purple, a pink, like a coral color, and an orange. And I'm gonna start applying those onto the lid from darkest to lightest. So I'm starting off with the purple one and applying that onto the outer portion of the lid. The pink is gonna go right after, and then the coral color is gonna kind of take up a majority of the space on the lid. And then the orange is gonna go on the very inner corner of the eye. And as I'm applying these shadows, I'm making sure to kind of blend them into each other as I'm going along. I did have to do some touch-ups with these shadows, not in a bad way, but I'll show you guys what I did later on. To deepen up that outer corner just a little bit more, I'm gonna go into the Violet Voss Best Life palette and taking the black shadow called Holiday, I'm just gonna add that onto the outer corner and give it a good blend. And then using my Beauty Bakerie Gelato liner in the shade Black Milk, I'm just gonna add like a half wing. So the liner kind of pulls out like a winged liner would, but instead of kind of creating like a point at the end, I'm just gonna stop where I applied that black eyeshadow and kind of blend the liner into the outer corner there. I'm gonna add a couple of coats of mascara next. I'm using the Too Faced Better Than Sex mascara today. And then for falsies, I'm going to be using these lashes from Crystal Lashes. These are in the style MaryJane. They just sent these over to me and oh my gosh, they're so pretty. So I'm just going to pop those on using some tweezers and then just kind of press my natural lashes into the falsies so there's no gap in between the two. Next, I'm gonna move on to skin. I already have my skin moisturized and everything, so I'm gonna start prepping it using the Farsali Skintune Blur. I love this stuff. It just makes the skin look super filtered and blurred and everything like that. It makes your pores look good. We love it, we stan. So I'm gonna go ahead and use that first. And then right after, I'm gonna use the new e.l.f. Jellypop Dew Primer. And I really love this stuff because not only does it smell like watermelon, but it has this kind of tacky texture to it. So when you apply it, you just know that your foundation is gonna like stick on there for a really long time. And then for foundation, I'm using Lancôme's Teinte Idole foundation in the shade 460 Suede W. I'm then going to start working on my under eyes. I've been really loving layering concealers. So the first concealer I'm going to use is also from Lancôme. This is their Ultra Wear in the shade 430 Suede W. I'm going to apply that using a concealer brush and then just make sure to really blend it out using the same sponge that I used to blend out my foundation. And then to start brightening the under eyes, I'm gonna go in with the Urban Decay Naked Skin Concealer. This one is in the shade Medium Dark Warm, so it has more of a yellowy undertone to it, which makes it perfect for the under eyes. I'm not gonna apply a lot of product because again, I'm gonna be layering different concealers, so I wanna make sure nothing is too heavy. But once I have it on, I'm just gonna go ahead and blend it again using the same sponge that I did with my last concealer as well as my foundation. And then to give that extra bit of brightness to the inner corner, I'm going to use my Danessa Myricks Vision Cover Cream. This formula is super full coverage, so you don't need a whole lot of product. And because the shade is so light, I'm just going to make sure to focus this on the very, very inner portion of the under eye. Then with some Pretty Vulgar translucent powder, I'm going to use a damp sponge, just gently blot this on all the areas that I added concealer. I've been really into powdered foundations as well, so I'm going to be using the MAC Studio Fix powder in the shade NC50, and with the large powder brush, I'm going to use this to set the rest of my face. For bronzer, I'm using two different colored bronzers from Anastasia. These are Cappuccino and Saddle, I believe. I'm going to place those on all the areas where I want to add some extra warmth. So for me, that's the cheekbones. I like to add some on the forehead and just a tad bit on the nose. I've been loving a good blush as of lately as well, so I'm going to be using one from Jouer. This is one of their duos in the shade Seduce Me, and I'm going to be using the darker of the two. I'm then going to move back to the eyes. I'm going to start off by smoking out that waterline using a black liner first. This one is also from Jouer. It's just a basic retractable liner. And then from there, pretty much all the colors that I added to the crease, I'm going to place onto the lower lash line as well. So I'm going to go in first with Holiday, which is the black from the Violet Voss palette, and apply that to the lash line to blend out that liner. I'm then going to go back in with Wifey and Liquor from the Carnival palette. Then with those same neon pigments that I applied onto the lid, I'm going to add those onto the inner part of the lash line as well. I'm then gonna add some lash primer. I feel like I haven't used lash primer in a while, so it was really calling my name today. But the lash primer I'm gonna be using is from L'Oreal. It's my favorite so far. It's the Voluminous Lash Primer, and it just makes your mascara just kind of like stick on better and makes your lashes just look that much fuller. Then for bottom lash mascara, I'm just gonna go back in with that Better Than Sex mascara from Too Faced. Next, I'm going to go ahead and do my brows. You guys already know I use my Anastasia Dip Brow Pomade in the shade Ebony. This is my favorite brow product. I use this for every single brow style that I do. It's like the only brow product that I use on my brows besides like a brow gel. But yeah, I'm just going to be going ahead and filling in my brows with that. I'm looking to do more of like a bushier type of brow today, so I'm not going to do any type of like harsh lines or anything. I'm simply just filling in all the sparser areas using hair-like strokes. And then to set my brow hairs in place, I'm going to use the Anastasia Dip Brow Gel in the shade Dark Brown. Before I go into highlight, I gotta add some facial mist. So today I'm using the MAC Fix Plus Spray. This is in the watermelon scent. It smells so good. If you guys haven't tried this, you need to. It just smells amazing. So I'm gonna spray that all over my skin and then just kind of fan it down until it's like about maybe like 75% dry. And then from there, I'm gonna add my highlighter. The highlight that I'm using today is the Sub-Zero palette. It's from Bperfect Cosmetics in collaboration with Mitchell. And I'm gonna be using a mixture of 2 shades from this palette and just applying that on all the high points of the face. And then to set the makeup and make sure it lasts all day long, I'm going to use the Urban Decay All Nighter Setting Spray. And same thing, I'm just going to spray that all over and then just make sure to dry it down with my fan. And now it's time for lips. To line my lips, I'm first going to use a MAC lip liner. This one is in the shade Plum. And I'm just going to line my lips as normal. Just make sure to fill in the outer corners so that way it blends in a lot easier into my liquid lipstick. I'm then going to go into my second lip liner. This one is from NYX. It's their Suede Matte Lip Liner in the shade Club Hopper. And with this, I'm just going to apply a very, very, very thin line on the outer edge of my lips to give them a more defined and contoured look. From there, I'm going to add my liquid lipstick. I'm using 2 from Tattoo Junkie Cosmetics. These are their lip paints in the shades Sugar and Cheeky. Sugar is the darker of the two, so I'm going to apply that one first using a brush. And then Cheeky, because it is so light, I'm just going to apply that on the center of the lips. And of course I had to add a lip gloss, so today I'm going to be using MAC's lip gloss in the shade Oyster Girl. So typically I would be done with the look at this point, but I definitely wanted to add some touch-ups here and there when it came to the eyes. So I'm going to go ahead and do that next. I'm going to go back in with that purple neon pigment. I noticed that the pink that I applied onto the lid wasn't really showing up in contrast with like the coral color. So I was just like, you know what? I'm just going to kind of fill in that space with purple as well. And because my hair is more lavender, I feel like the look started to kind of complement the hair a lot better since the purple was more visible. I'm also going to retouch my gel liner. So I'm just going to to add a little bit of extra liner onto the lash line because I did take off my lash to do these corrections, so it kind of lifted the gel liner at the same time. And then lastly, I'm just going to go back in with that black eyeshadow from the Violet Voss palette and reapply that to the outer corner just to make sure it's blending really well with the gel liner. And then off camera, I went ahead and reapplied my lash. And that is pretty much it for this look, guys. I really hope you enjoyed this tutorial. If you did, don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up. Make sure to let me know what you guys think down below in the comments. Shout out to Celie Hair for collaborating with me on this video. But thank you again for watching, guys, and hopefully I will see you in the next one.